विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः आदिकाराय शुद्धाय नित्याय परमात्मने सदैकरूपरूपाय विष्णवे सर्वविष्णवे यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण जन्म संसारबन्धनात् विमुच्यते नमस्तस्मै विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे ॐ नमो विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे श्रीवैशम्पायन उवाच श्रुत्वा धर्मानशेषेण पावनानि च सर्वशः युधिष्ठिरः शान्तनवं पुनरेवाभ्यभाषत युधिष्ठिर उवाच किमेकं दैवतं लोके किं वाप्येकं परायणं सुवन्तः तं कमर्चन्तः प्राप्नुर्मानवा शुभम् को धर्मः सर्वधर्माणां भवतः परमो मतः किञ्च वन्मुच्यते जन्तुर्जन्म संसारबन्धनात् श्रीभीष्म उवाच जगत्प्रभुं देवदेवमनन्तं पुरुषोत्तमं सुवर्णाम सहस्रेण पुरुषः सततोत्थितः तमेव चार्चयन् नित्यं भक्त्या पुरुषमव्ययम् ध्यायन् सुवर्णमस्यं च यजमानस्तमेव च अनादिनिधनं विष्णुं सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं लोकाध्यक्षं सुवन्नित्यं सर्वदुःखादिको भवेत् ब्रह्मण्यं सर्वधर्मज्ञं लोकानां कीर्तिवर्धनं लोकनाथं महद्भूतं सर्वभूतभवोद्भवम् एष मे सर्वधर्माणां धर्मोऽधिकतमो मतः यद्भक्त्या पुण्डरीकाक्षं स्तवैरक्षेन्नरः सदा परमं यो महत्तेजः परमं यो महत्तपः परमं यो महद्ब्रह्म परमं यत्परायणं पवित्राणां पवित्रं यो मङ्गलानां च मङ्गलम् दैवतं देवतानां च भूतानां यो व्ययः यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि भवन्त्यादि युगागमे यस्तं चक्रयभियान्ति पुनरेव विवक्षते तस्य लोकप्रधानस्य जगन्नाथस्य भूपते विष्णोर्नाम सहस्रं मे शृण्वावयावहम् यानि नामानि गौणानि विख्यातानि महात्मनः ऋषिभिः परिगीतानि तानि वक्ष्यामि गुरुते वेदव्यासो महामुनिः तन्नोऽनुष्ठुप्तदा देवो भगवान् देवकीसुतः अमृतामिषुत्सवो बीजं शक्तिर्देवकीनन्दनः सामान्यस्य शान्त्यत्ये विनिर्जते विष्णुं दुष्टं महाविष्णुं प्रभविष्णुं महेश्वरम् अनेकरूपदैख्यान्तं नमामि पुरुषोत्तमम् अस्य श्री विष्णो दिव्यसहस्रनाम स्तोत्रमहामन्त्रस्य श्रीवेदव्यासो भगवान् ऋषिः अनुष्ठुप्छन्दः श्रीमहाविष्णुः परमात्मा श्रीमन्नारायणो देवता अमृतांशुद्धो पादुर्गीतं देवकीनन्दनश्रेष्ठशक्तिः उद्भवक्षोभणो देवैः परमो मन्त्रः शङ्खवृन्नन्दकी चक्रीति रकम् सार्गसन्वागदातलेभ्यस्त्रम् रामवायक्षोभेतनेत्रम् सामासामगस्सामेति कवचम् आनन्दं परब्रह्मेति योगी दुष्टशक्कारैः बन्धः श्रीविश्वरूपैः ध्यानम् श्रीमहाविष्णुप्रीत्यर्थे ध्यानम् क्षीरोदन्वत्प्रदेशेषु शिवनिर्वलसस्य मौतिकानां मालाकृष्टासनस्तस्फटिकमणिनिभे मोतिके खण्डिताङ्गः शुभ्रैरभ्रैरभ्रैरुपरिचितैरुक्तैरुषवर्षैः आनन्दीनः पुनीयानन्दनिर्मलाशङ्कपाणिर्मुकुन्दः भूपागव्यस्य नागैर्व्यवसुरयश्चन्द्रसूर्यौ च नेत्रे कर्णावासा शिरोद्यौ मुहुमभिनवनो यस्य वासोऽयमब्धिः अन्तस्थं यस्य विश्वं सुरनरगर्भोऽभिनन्दनैः चित्रं रम्यते तं त्रिभुवनपुरुषं विष्णुमीशं नमामि वासुदेवाय शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं लक्ष्माधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिविद्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं मेघश्यामं पीतलोचेयवासं श्रीवत्साङ्गं कौस्तुभोर्वासितांगं वेदं पुण्डरीकायदाक्षं विष्णुं वन्दे सर्वलोकैकनाथं सारवक्षस्थलशोभितौस्तुभं नमामि विष्णुं शिरसा चतुर्भुजं छायायां पारिजातस्य हेमसिंहासनोपरि आसीनमस्तुलश्यामं आयताक्षमलङ्कृतं चन्द्राननं चतुर्बाहुं श्रीवत्साङ्कितवक्षसं रुक्मिणी सत्यभामाभ्यां सहितकृष्णमाश्रये विश्वविष्णुर्वषट्कारो भूतभव्यभवत्प्रभुः भूतविद्भावो भूतात्मा भूतभावनः भूतात्मा परमात्मा च मुक्तानां परमागतिः अव्ययः पुरुषः साक्षी क्षेत्रज्ञोऽक्षर एव च योगो योगविदां वेदा प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरः नारसिंहवपुः श्रीमान् केशवः पुरुषोत्तमः सर्वशर्वशिवस्तानुर्भूतादिर्निरव्ययः सम्भवो भावनो भर्ता प्रभवः प्रभुरीश्वरः स्वयंभू शम्भुरादित्यः पुष्कराक्षो महात्मनः अनादीतनो दाता विधाता धातुरुत्तमः अप्रमेयो ऋषिकेशः पद्मनाभो हरप्रभुः विश्वकर्मा मनुस्पष्टास्तविष्टस्तविरो ध्रुवः अग्राह्यः शाश्वतः कृष्णो लोहिताश्चक्रवर्धनः पवित्रं मङ्गलं परम् ईशानः प्राणद प्राणो ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठः प्रजापतिः हिरण्यगर्भो भूगर्भो माधवो मधुसूदनः ईश्वरो विक्रमी धन्वी मेधावी विक्रमक्रमः अनुत्तमो दुरादर्श कृतज्ञप्रजात्मवान् सुरेशरणं शर्मा ईश्वरेता प्रजाभवः संवत्सरो प्रत्ययः सर्वदर्शनः अजः सर्वेश्वर सिद्ध सिद्धि सर्वादिरक्षितः विशाखविरमेयात्मा सर्वयोगविनिश्चितः वसुर्वसुनः सत्यः समात्मा संवितस्समः अमोघ पुण्डरीकाक्षो विश्वकर्मा वशाद्रुभिः रुद्रो बहुशिरा बभ्रुविश्वयोनिषुचिश्रवाः अमृतः शाश्वतस्ताण्डुर्वरारोहो महातपाः सर्वविद्वानो विश्वक्षेनो जनार्दनः वेदो वेदविदव्यङ्गो वेदाङ्गो वेदवित्कविः लोकाध्यक्षः सुराध्यक्षो धर्माध्यक्षकृतार्थः चतुरात्मा चतुर्व्यूहः चतुर्दंशः चतुर्भुजः राजिष्णुर्भोजनं भोक्ता सहिष्णुर्जगदार्यः अनघो विजयोजेता विश्वयोनि पुनर्वसुः उपेन्द्रो वामनप्रांशो नमोगशुचिरोजितः अनीन्द्रः सर्गः सर्गो धृतात्मा नियमो यमः वेद्यो वैद्यः सदा योगी वीरः माधवो मधुः अतीन्द्रियो महामायो महत्साहो महाबलः महाबुद्धिर्महावीर्यो महाशक्तिर्महाद्विधिः अनिर्देश्यवपुः श्रीमानमे आत्मा महाद्विधिः अनेश्वासो महीव्रता श्रीनिवासः साङ्गतिः अनिरुद्धसुरानन्दो गोविन्दो गोविदाम्बतिः मरीचितमनो हंसः सुवर्णो भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभस्वरः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः अमृतसिंहः सन्धाता सन्धिमास्यरः अजो दुर्मशनशास्ता विशुद्धात्मा सुरारिः गुरुर्गुरुतमो रामः सत्यः सत्यपराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्वग्मी वाचस्पतिरुदारती अग्रणी ब्राह्मणी श्रीमान् न्यायो नेता समीरणः सहस्रमूर्ता विश्वात्मा सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् आवर्तनो निवृत्तात्मा समृद्धः सम्प्रवर्धनः सहस्रंवत्सरो वह्निनविरोधरणीधरः सुप्रसादः प्रसन्नात्मा विश्वसृष्टिः सत्कर्ता सत्कृतः साधुर्जन्मनारायणो नरः असंख्येयात्मा विशिष्टशिष्टरुचिः सिद्धार्थः सिद्धसङ्कल्पः सिद्धिदः सिद्धिसाधनः विशाली विषभो विष्णुर्विषभर्वा विशोधरः वर्धनो वर्धमानस्य विविधश्रीसागरः सुमृतो दुर्धरो वाग्मी महेन्द्रो वसुदो वसुः नैकरूपो बृहद्रूपः श्रीविष्णुप्रकाशनः ओजस्तेजो द्विविधः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः सिद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रश्चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करः अमृतांशुर्भवोपानुशबिन्दुसुरेश्वरः औषधं जगदस्येतु सत्यधर्मपराक्रमः भूतभव्यमहन्नाथः पवनः पावनो नरः रामः रामकृत्कान्तः कामः कामप्रदः प्रभुः युगादिकृत्युगावर्तो नैकमायो महाशनः अदृश्यो यक्षरूपस्य विशिष्टो विशिष्टशिष्टेष्टः शिखण्डी नवशो वृषः क्रोधः क्रोधकृत्कर्ता विश्वबाहुर्महीधरः अच्युतः दामोदरः महीधरो महाभागो वेगवान् विकासनः उद्भवक्षो मणोदेव श्रीधरः परमेश्वरः करणं कारणं कर्ता विकर्ता दहनो गुणः व्यवसायो व्यवस्थानः संस्थानस्थानो ध्रुवः परति परमस्पष्टः पुष्टः पुष्टः सुवेक्षणः रामो विरामो विरतो मार्गो नेयो नयो नयः वीरशक्तिमतां श्रेष्ठो धर्मो धर्मविदुत्तमः वैकुण्ठः पुरुषः प्राणः प्राणदः प्रणवप्रभुः हिरण्यगर्भः शत्रुघ्नो व्याप्तो वायुरदोक्षजः ऋतुसुदर्शनकालः परमेष्टि परिग्रहः उग्रः संवत्सरो दक्षो विश्रामो विश्वदक्षिणः विस्तारस्तावरस्ताणुं प्रमाणं बीजमव्ययम् अर्थो नक्तो महाघोषो महाभोगो महाधनः अनिर्बिन्दस्तविष्टो भूधर्मयुगो महामनः नक्षत्रेण नक्षत्रे क्षमः श्यामः समीनः यज्ञेन्द्रो महेशस्यसत्राङ्गलिः सर्वदर्शी मुक्तात्मा सर्वज्ञो ज्ञानमुत्तमम् सुहृदः सुहृदः सूक्ष्मः सुघोषः सुहृदः सुहृदः मनोहरो जितक्रोधो वीरबाहुर्विदारणः स्वापनः सौषो व्यापी नैकात्मा नैककर्मकृत् वत्सरो वत्सरो वत्सीरत्नगर्भो धनेश्वरः धर्मकृद्धर्मी सरसक्षरम् अविज्ञाता सहस्रांशुर्विधाता कृतलक्षणः नवस्तिनेमि सत्त्वस्थः सिंहो भूतमहेश्वरः आदिदेवो महादेवो देवेशो देववृत्कुरुः उत्तरो गोपतिर्गोप्ता ज्ञानगम्यपुरातनः शरीरभूतभृद्भोक्ता कवीन्द्रो भूरिदक्षिणः सोमगो मृतः सोमः कुरुसत्तमः विनयोदय सत्यसन्धो दाशान्तसाक्षताम्पतिः जीवो विनेता साक्षी मुकुन्दो विक्रमः अम्बो निजनन्तात्मा महोदृशयोद्धकः अजो महादस्वाभाव्यो जितामित्रप्रमोदनः आनन्दो नन्दनो नन्दः सत्यधर्मा त्रिविक्रमः महर्षि कविराचार्य कृतज्ञो मेदिनीपतिः कृपजस्पृशो महाशृङ्गकृतान्तकृत् महावराहो गोविन्दस्पृशेण कनकाङ्गलिः गुह्यो कवीरो गहनो गुप्तश्चक्रगदाधरः वेदास्वाङ्गो जितकृष्णो दुरसङ्कर्षणोच्युतः वरुणो वारुणो पृष्ठः पुष्कराक्षो महावनः भगवान् भगवानन्दी वनमालीलायुधः आदित्यो ज्योतिरादित्यः सरिष्वृतसत्तमः सुरन्वा कण्ठपरशुर्दारुणो दृढकृतः दिवस्कृत्सर्वविद्यासो वाचस्पतिर्यो निजः सामनिर्वाणं केशनं विशत् संन्यासविक्षमशान्तो निष्ठा शान्तिपरायणं शुभाङ्गशान्तिरस्पष्टा कुमुदः कुवलेशयः गोविन्दो गोपतिर्भोक्ता विषमाक्षो विषक्रियः अनिवर्तिर्निवृत्तात्मा संक्षेप्ता क्षेमदृक्षिवः श्रीवत्सवक्षा श्रीवासः श्रीपतिः श्रीमदाम्बरः श्रीधर श्रीधर श्रीनिवास श्रीनिधि श्रीभावनः श्रीधर श्रीधर श्रेय श्रीमान् लोकत्रयाश्रयः स्वच्छस्वन्दशदानन्दो नन्दिर्ज्योतिर्गणेश्वरः विजितात्मा विधेयात्मा सत्कीर्तिक्षिमितसंशयः उदीर्णसर्वदक्षक्षुणधीशशाश्वतस्थिरः भूषयो भूषणो भूषिलशोकशोकनाशनः अचिष्मानक्षुतकुम्भो विशुधात्माशोभनः अनिरुद्धो प्रतिहतप्रद्युम्नो विक्रमः कालनेमि महावीरशौरशौर्यजनेश्वरः त्रिलोकात्मा त्रिलोकेशः केशवः केशिहारिः कामदेवः कामपालः कामी कान्तकृतागमः अनिर्देशो विष्णुवीरो नन्दो धनञ्जयः ब्रह्मण्यो ब्रह्मविद्ब्रह्मा ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविवर्तनः ब्रह्मविद्ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मी ब्रह्मण्यो ब्राह्मणप्रियः महाक्रमो महाकर्मा महातेजा महावरः महाकृतुर्महायज्वा महायज्ञो महाहरिः सव्यस्तवक्रियस्तोत्रं सुरस्तोदारणप्रियः पूर्णपूरेधा पुण्यपुण्यकीर्तनामयः मनोजवस्तीर्थकरो वसुरेधा वसुप्रदा वसुप्रदो वासुदेवो वसुर्वसुमनाहरिः सद्गति सद्गति सत्ता सद्भूति सत्परायणः शूरसेनो यजुश्रेष्ठः सन्निवासस्यामनः भूतावासो वासुदेवः सर्वासुरयोनः तर्पः तर्पदो दुर्गो दुर्धरो तापराजितः विश्वमूर्तिर्महामूर्तिर्तीर्थमूर्तिरमूर्तिमान् अनेकमूर्तिरव्यक्तशतमूर्तिशताननः एकोनैकसवर्कर्तिं यत्तत्पदमनुत्तमं लोकबन्धुर्लोकनाथो माधवो भक्तवत्सलः सुवर्णवर्णो हेमाङ्गो वराङ्गश्चन्दनाञ्जलिः दुर्गो दुरावासो दुरायः शुभांगो लोकसारङ्गसुतं दुर्सन्तवत्रः इंद्रकर्मा महाकर्मा कृतकर्मा कृतागमः उद्भव सुंदर सुंदो रत्ननाभ सुलोचनः अर्को वाजनशृंगी जयंत सर्वविजयी सुवर्णमिन्द्रक्षोभ्य सर्ववागीश्वरेश्वरः महागतो महाकर्तो महाभूतो महानिधिः कुमुद कुंदर कुंद पर्जन्य पावनो यः अमृतांशो मृदो सर्वज्ञ सर्वतोमुखः सुलभ शूद्र सिद्ध शत्रुजिच्चतुर्भावनः व्यक्रोधो दुम्बरो स्वच्छाणुरान्तनिषूदनः सहस्रार्चि सप्तशिव सप्तैका सप्तवाहनः अमूर्त्य नरोचिन्त्यो भयनाशनः अनुग्रहशूलो गुणनिर्गुणो महान् अजतस्तुतस्वास्य प्रापुंसो वंशवर्धनः बालवृद्धयो योगी योगी च सर्वकामदः आश्रमश्रमणश्याम सुवर्णो वायुवाहनः धनुर्धरो धनुर्वेदो दण्डो दमैतादमः अपराजित सर्वसौर्येन्द्रा नियमो यमः सत्त्ववान् साक्षिक सत्य सत्यधर्मपरायणः अभिप्राय प्रियारोह प्रियवृत्तिवर्धनः विहाय सकृज्योति सुविलोचन सूर्य सविता रविलोचनः अनन्तो गोप्ता सुखदो नैलोकः अनिर्विण्य सदामयी लोकाधिष्ठानः नित्यं श्रोतुमिच्छाम्यहं प्रभो। ईश्वर उवाच श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्रीराम राम वराननो नमः। ब्रह्मोवाच नमोऽस्तु अनन्ताय सहस्रमूर्ते सहस्रपादाय शिरोर्वाहवे सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः। सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः। संजय उवाच यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूति ध्रुवानीति मतिमः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अनन्या चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्। परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्मसंस्थापनार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे युगे। आर्ता विषण्णा शिथिलाश्चरिताः संकीर्त्य नारायणस्तमनुगुणस्वासिनो भवन्ति। कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। Hello. Welcome to all of you to the new place. We are blessed to have this kind of place with the grace of Pradeep Archakar, and this is really a blessing for the Sri Vaishnava community and in general for everybody in the Bay Area. So this is the first event for the second year of our Chivi Chintanam. We are blessed to have this. It's really a blessing. And the first year, it was started out by our own dear Srimati Radha Rangarajan. Again, the second year is being started with her. With her grace, everything went out very well in the first year. Give her a big hand. The second year also, we are starting, and hopefully we are going to get another good year with really nice pravachanams. As far as the Radha, Srimati Radha auntie goes, Radha Rangarajan goes, and so I am used to calling everybody auntie. Everybody becomes auntie to me. Anyway, I don't think she needs an introduction, but this is a new place, and if there are anybody new, so I need to introduce her officially. And she's doing a marvelous job for the community, even here and in Los Angeles. And we are blessed to have such a knowledgeable person balancing both the US, like culture and the heritage of our tradition, Sri Vaishnava tradition. We are really happy to have such a person amidst ourselves. As far as the little bio goes, she is very modest and she doesn't give us too much details. Srimati Radha Rangarajan is an active member of the Astika community in the Los Angeles area, where she leads a bi-weekly Divya Prabandha study group. Her teacher and guide in life was her father, Sri C.S. Krishnamurti, who was a devoted associate of Sri Paramahamsa Tirukudande Andavan. Sorry, well known as Kandan Swami. That is better. Sri Krishnamurti had an innate love for our spiritual classics, particularly Srimad Ramayana and Mahabharata, which he read every day of his life. At the feet of Sri Kandan Swami, he also developed a deep appreciation for Divya Prabandham and Sampradaya Granthas. especially the stotras and the poetic works of Swami Vedanta Deshika. Sri Krishnamurti imparted his love for this divine literature to his daughter at a young age. In his model, she is today a daily student of Srimad Ramayana and a devotee and Rasika of Azhvar, Sri Ramanujan Swami Deshika. Like her father, she is noted for her incredible memory and her ability to draw on countless shlokas and pasrams without the aid of any text. She is a gifted speaker who talks appeal to people of all ages. I couldn't agree more than that. Today I learned something with reading this biodata. Everybody has a nickname for some purpose, which is easy to pronounce, I guess. Anyway, we welcome Srimati Radha Rangarajan for the stage, and everybody sit back and enjoy the pravachan.
प्राचीसन्ध्या काचिदन्तर्निशायाः प्रज्ञादृष्टे रञ्जनश्रीरपूर्वा वक्त्रे वेदां भातु मे वाजिवक्त्रा वागीशाख्या वासुदेवस्य मूर्तिः वन्दे तं यमिनां दुरन्धरमहम् आनन्दकारद्रुहा पन्तानं परिपन्थिनां निजदृशारुन्धाननिधानय दत्तं येन दयासुधाम्भुनिधिना पीत्वा विशुद्धं पयः कालेन कलिशैलकृष्णजलदः काङ्क्षादिकं वर्षति निरन्तरं निर्विशतस्त्वदीयम् अस्पृष्टचिन्तापदमाभिरूप्यं सत्यं शपे वारणशैलनाथ वैकुण्ठवासेऽपि न मेऽभिलाषः कमपि कनकसिन्धोः सैकते सञ्चरन्तं कलशजलधिकन्या मेदिनी दत्तहस्तम् अनिशमनुभवेयं पादुके त्वयदीनं सुचरितपरिपाकं सूरिभिः सेवनीयम् பண்டை நான் வரையும் வேள்வியும் கேள்வி பதங்களும் பதங்களின் பொருளும் பிண்டமாய் விரிந்த பெருங்குடி அனலும் பெருகிய புனலுடு நிலனும் கொண்டல் மாறுதமும் குறைகடலேழும் ஏழுமா மலைகளும் விசும்பும் மண்டமும் தானாய் நின்ற எம்பெருமான் அரங்கமா நகரமர்ந்தானே முளைக்கதிரை குறுங்கொடியில் முகிலை மூவா மூவலகும் கடந்தப்பால் முதலாய் நின்ற அளப்பரி ஆரமுதை அரங்கம்மேய நந்தனனை நந்தனர்த்தம் சீதையானை விடக்கொள்ளியை மரகதத்தை திருத்தன்காவில் வெக்காவில் திருமாலை பாடக்கேட்டு வளர்த்ததனால் பயன் பெற்றேன் வருகவென்று மடக்கிளியை கைகூப்பி வணங்கினாளே கலைமிக்க சென்னல் கழனி குறையல் கலைபெருமான் ஒலிமிக்க பாடலை உண்டு தன் உள்ளம் தடித்ததனால் வலிமிக்க சீய ராமானுசன் என்னும் வலிமிக்க சீயம் இராமானுசன் மறை புலிமிக்கதென்று புவனத்தே வந்தமை போற்றுவனே அறிவு தரும் பெரிய திருமொழி தப்பாமல் 1084 பாட்டும் குறிதொரு தாண்டகம் 456 குலாநெடுந்தாண்டகம் 7 இருக்கை ஒன்றும் சிறிய மடல் பாட்டு 38 சீர்பெரிய மடல் தன்னில் பாட்டு 78 இறையவனே கார்த்திகையில் கார்த்திகை நாள் எழில் குறையல் வரும் கலியா இறங்கு நீயே. தமிழ்ல பேசணுமா இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசணுமா? ரெண்டு சாய்ஸ் தான். தமிழ் ஆர் இங்கிலீஷ்? இங்கிலீஷா? மிக்ஸ் பண்ணிடலாம். தமிழ் இங்கிலீஷ் மிக்ஸ் பண்ணிடலாம். So it's right. New one.
Half the time do English, half the time do Tamil.
இப்போ வந்து இன்னைக்கு today is the day to honor our திருமங்கை ஆழ்வார். ஆழ்வார்கள்னு சொல்றச்சே முதல்ல we have to say what is Divya Prabandham. ஆழ்வார்கள் are so great because they gave us the Divya Prabandham. இப்போ திவ்ய பிரபந்தம்னா என்ன? I'm going to speak in English, so don't worry, but I'll mix with Tamil. What is Divya Prabandham அப்படின்னு சொன்னா who should tell us what is Divya Prabandham? அப்படின்னா I think if there is one person, if he says that's it, that's final, that's right, that must be good, அப்படின்னு if we have to agree on one person's definition of what is Divya Prabandham, it is Shri Nigamanta Mahadesikan. And in his magnum opus Rahasya Trayasaram, the last work of his, in Manipravalam, where he mixes beautifully Sanskrit and Tamil. Sanskrit is majestic, Tamil is beautiful, Tamil is sweet, Sanskrit has Gambhiryam. These two are mixed and a Manipravalam is made in that language. Vyakyanams are written from the time of Thirukurgai Piran Pillan, Ramanuja's Sishya, Jnana Putran. From him onwards they have done that. Swami Desikan in his Rahasya Trayasaram says this is what Divya Prabandham is. What he says, I am going to say a small pankti from his work and I'll tell what it is. पूर्वोत्पन्नेषु भूतेषु तेषु तेषु खलौ प्रभुः अनुप्रविश्य कुरुते यत् समीहितम् अच्युतः एन्गिरपडिये பராங்குஷ பரகாலாதி ரூபத்தாலே அபினவ தசாவதாரம் ஒன்று பண்ணி மேகங்கள் சமுத்திர ஜலத்தை வாங்கி சர்வருக்கும் உபஜீவியமான தண்ணீராக உமிழுமா போலே வேதார்த்தத்தில் சாரதமாம்சத்தை எடுத்து சர்வருக்கும் அதிகரிக்கலாமான பாஷையிலே சங்கிரகித்து அருளியும். This is I don't know how many people would understand this language, but this language has beauty. Puriyata kuda it's okay. By listening it's such a joy. Here he says what Divya Prabandham is. The Lord himself, of course, the Lord is everywhere, Vishnu is everywhere, we know, but he makes a special Antapravishyam into some Nityasuris who are born here, and the Lord does what the Megams do. Megam means the clouds. The clouds go plunge into the ocean and they bring the salt water. There is copious water in the oceans, and the clouds go and bring the water. Umiluma pole, they literally spit to us clear, clean, sweet water, which becomes useful for all of us. There is no discrimination. The rain will fall in the backyard of the palace as well as in the backyard of a hut in a slum. It's everywhere. It's for all people to enjoy. In the same way, Azhvargal have gone deep into the ocean, which is Vedam. Anantavai Vedaha. Vedam has no limit. It is so, we don't have all the Vedas now with us. The quantity of Vedas is unlimited. Such Vedas are very difficult. The language is very difficult. One word can have so many meanings. One word can even have opposite meanings. And sentences can be split in any number of different ways. When you split it, then the meaning can be different or even opposite. So what meaning is the best? How do you split? Which meaning is right here and so on is very, very difficult even for great scholars. That's why there is dispute among great scholars as to this is what this means. Even with Sahasranamam, they have different meanings for words and how they split. So it's difficult and there are restrictions. Everybody is not an adhikari to learn and recite Vedas. So what Azhvars have done, that's what Swami Desikan says, Sangrahitha ve Saradhamamsattai Sangrahitha Aruliyum Asaram, Alpasaram, Saram, Sarataram, Sarathamam. So you have to leave Asaram, you have to leave Alpasaram, you have to leave Saram, you have to leave Sarataram, and you have to take the Sarathamam and filter it, and take the best essence. And that is what he means by Sang. And then it becomes very little. Sangrahit Aruliyim. Divya Prabandham is also known as Arulichayal. Arul means Daya. It is out of compassion, something that's very difficult is given in a form that's very small and very easily understandable, and in a language and a form that anybody can learn. You can be a Brahmana, you can be a Sudra, you can be a male, you can be a female, it doesn't matter. We all can learn and recite the Divya Prabandham, and it's given in the most beautiful Tamil language. Swami Desikan keeps on saying Agastya Bhasha, Swas Kumbi Sunoho Swaira Bhasha. Kumbi Sunu is Agastya Munivar, his His mother tongue is Tamil, he says. In such a language, it's given. So when we say this is so great, we are not trying to say Vedam is not great. Vedam is the most fundamental one. Our religion, our theology, our culture is Vaidika religion. It's based on Vedam. Right. Vedat Shastram Param Nasti Nadaivam Keshavatpan. So Vedam is the ultimate. And we say Divya Prabandham is so great because it is Vedam. We are not going to say Vedam is so great because it is Divya Prabandham. That's not how it goes. So Vedam's greatness stays. So Vedam and Divya Prabandham are like two eyes. It's not like one eye is better than the other eye, or we want one eye and we don't want the other eye. We want them both to properly see, properly understand. That's where the greatness of Divya Prabandham is. And our Alvars are the ones who gave us the Divya Prabandham. As he says, Parankusha Parakaladi Rupatale Abhinava Dasavataram Panni. So there are 12 Alvars. Of the 12 Alvars, we are not interested in saying some Alvar is better than the other Alvar. They are all great. But somehow, among all Alvars, Nammalvar is considered the greatest of Alvar. He is the Prapannajana Santana Kutasthar. We are all, those of us who are all Ramanuja's followers, we are all Prapannajanal. We all do Prapatti, meaning we all take Sharanagati at the lotus feet of Shriyapati Sriman Narayana. And for us, our leader is Parankusha or Nammalvar. He is the Kulapati, means is the leader. But when every time they say the greatness of Nammalvar and even mention Nammalvar, along with Nammalvar, Thirumangai is also mentioned, just like in this Pankti. Parankusha Parakaladi Rupattale. Parankusha means Nammalvar. Parakalan means Thirumangai. So along with Thirumangai Nammalvar, Thirumangai is always mentioned because he is as great as Nammalvar. Sometimes he is even said to be even greater than Nammalvar. That's how great Thirumangai is. And Nammalvar has given us 4 works. Thiruviruttam, Thiruvasiriyam, Periya Thiruvandadi, Thiruvaimozhi. These 4 are known as Vedam. 4 Vedams in Tamil, Tamil Marai, Dramida and so on and so forth. Nammalvar has given the 4 Vedams in Tamil in these 4 works. And Thirumangai has given us 6 works. I'm going to give the list the name, and the way it is said, maybe it's different for some people, but this is the way it is in Prabandhasaram of Swami Desikan. So we go in that order. Periya Thirumozhi, Thirukurun Tandagam, Thirunedun Tandagam, Thiruvalu Uttirukkai, Siriya Thirumadal, Periya Thirumadal. 6 works Thirumangai has given. So they say for the 4 Vedams of Nammalvar, or Angam, 6 Angams, Vedas have Shadangam or Angam. If anybody is supposed to be a person who is learned in Vedas, Sangama Vedam Adhyanam Pannavar, along with Angam, 6 Angams, one should learn the Vedas. Only then he will understand it till Anushtana Pradam. So what, in the same way, even to understand the 4 works of Nammalvar, we need to learn and understand the 6 works of Thirumangai. That's how great his works are. His works are, on their own merit, they are great works. Plus, they are inevitable, necessarily needed aids to understand even Nammalvar's work. That is why Swami Desikan says, Arivutharum Periya Thirumozhi. When we look at the Prabandhasarams or any work, we see whenever Thirumangai is mentioned, there is a long Visheshanam given, a long adjective given to refer to Thirumangai, which is not given to other Alvars. He says, Arivutharum Periya Thirumozhi. Periya Thirumozhi gives the Arivu. The Arivu is Jnanam, knowledge of understanding even the 4 works of Nammalvar. And it gives us the Arivu, the Jnanam we need desperately today. We are not rishis and yogis of those other yugams. We do not know how to go to Kshirabdi and say the Jitnita Slokam there in the Sveta Dvipam. We do not even know how to look inside and in a yogic form, look at the Lord inside our heart. All we have is Archavataram. Archavataram meaning the Lord in temples where we go and worship. And our system, our philosophy says the Archavataram in the temple is not a stepping stone. It is not something you go and worship till you get big jnanam and then start worshipping formless something. No, our philosophy is this is God. Our philosophy is we don't say the Lord in Sri Vaikuntham also exists in the idol in the temple. We say the idol in the temple also exists in Sri Vaikuntham. That is the philosophy we have. That arivu we get by Thirumangai works. He is known as Archavatara Pravanya, meaning Pravanyam is love. He loved and loved and loved Archavataram. Archavataram meaning idols. Worshipping the idol could be in the temple, the idol could be in the house, it could be the Shalagramam we have in those boxes in our houses. That is Archavataram. There are 5 nilais, 5 positions for the Lord. Paravasudevan in Sri Vaikuntham and Vyuham in Tiruparkadal Kshirabdi and Vibhavavataram where he comes to this earth in all his avatars such as Rama and Krishna, and he is Antaryami in our hearts, and then he is Archa. The Archa is the only Lord who is available for ordinary people like us to talk to worship, to enjoy. What we need to is enjoy the beauty of the Lord in the temples, and that's what Thirumangai is teaching us so eloquently. And Archavataram, that's all our, whether it's Ramanuja, whether it is Vedanta Desika, whether it is Manavada Mamnira, whether it's Parasara Bhattar, whether it is Alavandar, all our acharyas were so fond of the Archavatara Perumal, but most of them into Sri Rangam, but any temple is the greater, our worship, that is the Arivutaram. And when he talks about பொய்யமணி புதத்தார் பேராழ்வார் தன் பொருள்வரும் குருகேசன் விட்டு சித்தன் துய்ய குலசேகரணம் அனநாதன் தொண்டரடிப்படி மைஷை வந்த சோதி, all these Alva's names, வையமெல்லாம் மறைவிளங்க வாழ்வேர் ஏந்தும் மங்கையர்கோன் என்றவர்கள் மழுந்து பாடும் செய்ய தமிழ் மாலைகளாம் தெளிய ஓதி தெரியாத மலை நிலங்கள் தெளிகின்றோமே. தெரியாத மறை நிலங்கள், Vedams is like fields and fields and fields of whatever is growing, paddy is growing, wheat is growing, and Teliyada, it's difficult to understand. But how do we understand? With the Divya Prabandham, we understand the Vedam. When he's talking, all the other Alvas, Payamani, Budatar, Payalvar is giving the name. When it comes to Thirumangai Alvar, he says, Vayamelam Marai Vilanga Val, Vel, Yendum Mangayakon. Marai means Vedam, for the Vedas to flourish and to be known all over the world. Parakalan, our Thirumangai Alvar traveled all the way from the Himalayas down to Tirukurungudi, and with his works he made the Vedas live all over. So that's the greatness given to Thirumangai. And his works have so much of Vedantic philosophy, what is said in Shruti, Smriti, Itihasa, Puranas and so on. The knowledge really is not, we mean knowledge here, not we know about real estate or we know about computers or not that. It is who am I? What is this Jivatma? Where did it come from? How does it live? Where does it want to go? And who is God? And why did we come here? How do we go home? Why are we not home? What is preventing us from going home? All these tattvas, that is the real knowledge, which is what we need to get out of this mess that we are. Ya savidya, ya vimuktaye. That is real vidya. That knowledge, how do we get from the Vedas? What is in the Vedas is given in a beautiful way by Thirumangai in his works, particularly in Tirunedundandagam. There is an incident that happened that relates to Tirunedundandagam. There was a great acharya living in Sri Rangam. His name was Parasara Bhattar, and he lived at the same time as Ramanuja, but much younger than Ramanuja. He was handpicked by Ramanuja to write Bhashyam, commentary for Sahasranama. He was the son of the illustrious Koratalwan, a child prodigy, really, and a great scholar. And he has studied everything to study in Vedas and Puranas and Itihasas and Agamas and so on and so forth. A brilliant person. And at that same time in Mysore, there lived an equally brilliant, equally learned person by the name of Madhavachari. And Madhavachari was known as Vedanti. And this Vedanti was an Advaiti. Our Parasara Bhattar was a Visishta Advaiti. Now, he wanted to help and teach proper Visishtadvaitam to this great scholar Madhavachari and bring this Vedanti from Mysore as Danti to Sri Rangam. Danti means elephant. He He wants his mere Vedanti to make him a Danti, meaning an elephant, meaning we need, Perumal Kovil, we need an elephant to add charm to beauty and to do Kainkaryam for Perumal. So in Sri Rangam, to bring Tirtham from Kaveri, we need the elephant. We'll bring Madhavachari. So he knew about Madhavachari knew about Parashara Bhatta. Madhavachari was also a very rich man. He had a big Annasala and he used to do Annadanam for thousands of people every day and so on. And now, where Parasara Bhatta, how is he going to get an audience with him? How is he going to teach him? This is equally learned man. How is he going to bring? So to his Sishyas, he said, when you go to Mysore, when you see this Madhavachari, tell him Parasara Bhatta knows Tirunedantandaka Shastram. It is not just Pasurams, it is Shastram. They went and told him, Parasara Bhatta knows Tirunedantandaka Shastram. No, Parasara Bhatta, this Madhavachari got shocked. This man knows something I never even heard of. He didn't even know Tamil. So he said, he knows something I don't even know exists. He must be such a great scholar. After doing that, Parashara Bhatta went to that Annasala and he was just standing. Madhavacharya used to go and supervise to see everything was going well. And he saw Parashara Bhatta and he said, why is he not eating? Kaviksha. He asked him, what do you want? And Parashara Bhatta says, Tarka Viksha. He said, I want to debate with you. He said, if somebody is here that wants to debate with me, that must be the Parasara Bhatta from Sri Lanka. Nobody else will voluntarily ask and come to debate with me. So I said, okay. And then they had the debate. When they were talking, Parasara Bhatta did Siddhanti Karanam of the mere first 2 pasurams of Tirunedantandagam. This Tirunedantandagam is 30 pasurams. It's beautiful pasurams. And here, Azhvar gets Naika Bhavam. He gets Naika Bhavam. Naika Bhavam of Azhvar's, well, I don't know if other people know anything about this. Naika Bhavam is absolutely beautiful, where the love of the Azhvar becomes, the intensity becomes so much. They tend to forget they are men. They become women. They become the beloved of the Lord Shriyapati and they are in love with him. And they speak, it's always beautiful when there is Vislesham. Samslesham is okay, but when there is Vislesham, when they are pining, when they are crying, and then they send these bees and birds and even clouds as messengers to the Lord to call him to come. Our Thirumangai finally gets fed up. Whoever goes doesn't come back. He sends his Tori. Tori means the girls, friends. They go and then Krishna stays with them and they won't come back to this girl after they meet Krishna. And he even sends his Nenju, his mind. He says, none of these girls will come back. Oh, my mind, you go to him and you come back with his Tulasi Mahalai for me. Even the mind cheated him. The mind won't come back once he went to Krishna. So this is all beautiful, beautiful. They say, Jnanatil tan pechu, prematil pen pechu. When Azhvar is speaking with his jnanam, or as Azhvar, he speaks all these great things. But when his premam, his love becomes so much, it becomes pen page. He speaks like this, like a Nayaki. And there are, of the 30 pasurams, 20 pasurams are in Nayika Bhava. Only 10 pasurams are, the Azhvar is speaking as himself. Aduli with 2 pasurams, Parashara Bhatta was convincing enough for Madhavacharya to give up his Advaita philosophy as worthless, and he became a Visishtadvaita, and he came to Sri Rangam and he became a Sishya of Parasara Bhatta. Later on he became an Acharya with the name of Nanjiya. And it seems the day Parasara Bhatta returned from Mysore was one day before the Thiru Adhyayana Utsavam in Sri Rangam, where all the 4,000 pasurams are recited now. Those days 1,000 Thiruvaimuri. When he came back, Ranganatha was so happy with Parasara Bhatta, he asked him to recite Tirunedantandagam. So Parasara Bhatta recited Tirunedantandagam to Perumal, Ranganatha, one day before the starting of the Adhyayana Utsavam. So to this day, in Sri Rangam, the Tirunedantandagam Tiruvizha, first day, and then Adhyayana Utsavam starts. And in Adhyayana Utsavam, again Tirunedantandagam Sevikaradu, when its place comes in the order. That's how great this work of Tirunedantandagam of our Thirumangai Azhvar. Then, it's not only philosophy, his poetry is unbelievably beautiful. The alliterations, the words he uses, the emotions he depicts, and the scenery he paints for us to look at, they are all absolutely beautiful, The Tamil poetry makes you you don't want to stop. You want to keep going and going and going and reciting and reading. You don't even have to understand. The lilting beauty of the poetry is unbelievable. He was known as Chatushkavi Perumal, Chatushkavi Shikhamani, Nalikavi Perumal. Tamil has 4 kinds of poetry: Asukavi, Vistarakavi, Madhurakavi, Chitrakavi. Asukavi is if someone gives you a topic, right away you should compose poetry on that. And Vistarakavi is if some small topic is given, you should be able to make a large, big work on it. Madhurakavi is it has got to be so sweet. Our Madal, when we say Madal Sevikardana, Siriya Thirumadal, and then Periya Thirumadal, it just flows that madhuryam of the poetry, the words, the way he brings in the names of the Divyadesams and puts them together is unbelievable beauty. And then Chitrakavi is, there are rules and regulations for Chitrams, and the words should fit in those patterns and it should make sense. He has composed in all these just like Swami Desika did. Swami Desika is also Chatushkavi, Shikhamani. Even Chitrakavi has done unbelievable amount and beautiful in his Paduka Sahasram. And Paduka is what? Slippers. Someone telling him to compose poetry on slipper, Paduka, within 1.5 jam, Swami Desikan had composed 1008 magnificent slokams. That is Asukavi, that is Vistarakavi, that is Madhurakavi, that is Chitrakavi, all put in one by Swami Desikan. And it is 1008, but it is 2016 because it's Paduka Sahasram. It's on Shatari. Shatari is Nammalwar, Shatari is Perumal's Paduka, and so it is on both of them. So it's multiplied by so many numbers. That in the same way, that is why maybe Swami Desikan had such an affection for Thirumangai Azhvar. Desikan Mangalathila Kaliyanurai Kudikonda Karuttudayun Vazhiye. What is always running in the mind of Swami Desikan is Kaliyan means Thirumangai Azhvar, Kaliyan Urai. Thirumangai Azhvar's pasurams are constantly running in the mind of Swami Desikan. Because Swami Desikan's aesthetic sense was such, anything that was this beautiful you would have definitely enjoyed. Such beautiful poetry he has done. So now we have to come to the topic. The topic is the Rogue Bhakta. So far we are talking about the greatness of Thirumangai Azhvar. We do not know anything. We have no business talking about his greatness because our knowledge and his greatness, there is no way to put them together. But whatever we want to, out of desire, out of love, we want to talk about him. But even then we haven't said anything about a rogue or something like that. But we are given the topic, the rogue bhakta. So now we want to know who is a rogue? Why is this? And the Sanskrit word for the English word rogue is kitavaha. And Swami Desikan in his Gopala Vimsati is praising, he is worshipping Krishna. When he thinks about Krishna, when he wants to talk about Krishna, you might notice he always say Natha or he say Vande. He wouldn't start with any other word. If it is Krishna, it's immediately my Natha, oh my Lord, or Vande. I prostrate, I worship, and then only who. That is how much intense bhakti Swami Desika had for Krishna. Krishna was his deity in his heart. Hridimukta Sikandamandano Likita Kena Mamaisha Silpina Madanatura Vallavangana Vadanam Boja Divakaroiva. He says, who chisel? You take rock and you take a chisel and you sculpt a figure, then you can erase it. It's there for good. That's how Gopalan is etched in his heart, he says. Then he says, oh, we can't erase it. He's stuck with that. He's not happy? No. He says, Adarahita Charuvamsanalaha Makutalambi Mayura Pinchamalaha Harinila Shila Vibhanganila Pratibhasantu Mamantima Prayane. Not only now, as long as I live, and when I take my last breath, this Gopalan is one, this Venu Gopalan is the one I want to see and breathe my last breath. He says, that was his love for Krishna. And he calls him Chitrakalpa Shravasikalyan Langali Karnapuram Barhotam Saspuritu Chikuro Bandhujivam Dadana Gunjabadda Murasalalitam Darayan Hareshtim Gopastrenam Jayati Hitavaha Kopi Kaumarahari this Kitavaha, this rogue Jayati, he is victorious, he is resplendent, he is beautiful, he is a stealer. This thief of the youth of Gopastris. Jayati also means prostrate. I worship Jayatya Shruta Santrasa Dvanta Vidvamsanodaya. Arambame Jayati, worshipping him. He is Vande Vrindavanacharam. Who is he worshipping? This thief who is stealing right in front of his eyes, the youth of all these girls, he says. So, this Kitavaha or the rogue may have a negative meaning of a scoundrel or something. It also has a positive meaning of a mischievous guy, a mischievous person who tries to do naughty things because he knows he can get away with them, because he bends the rules, he surpasses the norms, he is impertinent, he is disobedient, he is telling lies, he is stealing, he is doing all those things knowing you will indulge him. He knows he is so sweet, he is so attractive that he can get away with murder, and he is taking advantage of it, and we love him for that. That is a rogue. That is the meaning of this mischievous person here, Thirumangai is. When we think of this, we realize Swami Desikan's love for Thirumangai probably is a reflection of his love for Krishna, because when we look at avatarams, I drink water like a camel. Then the Divya Prabandham group like, oh, what is it? Thank you. Mother, thanks. No, Thirukkural. And see, Krishna was a thief. Krishna was a dumb thief at that. He stole, and he didn't even know how to lie properly. Yela poigalureppane says Nachiyar. Yela poi means ottuka mudiyada poi. If sometimes people lie, we believe it. This fellow tells lies, you won't even believe. And he steals, he doesn't lie properly about it. He gets caught, and then he gets yelled at, and then he gets hit, and he cries. வேயினன்ன தோள்மடவார் வெண்ணை உண்டான் இவன் என்று ஏசன் என்ற எம்பெருமான் எவுள் கிடந்தானே. Azhvar says, "Ayyo, what will I do with this fellow? Because let him do all these stupid things. Let him steal, let him lie not right, and let him get caught, let him get yelled at, let him get beat up. Can't he get beat up by some strong guys?" வேயினன்ன தோள்மடவார், these slim, powerless women are beating him up, he is crying. That's how he's doing. But when Krishna is like that, is it because he needs the butter? Doesn't he know how to run away? He knows it all. But he is behaving in all these ways out of his saulabhyam, out of his love for you and me. Because his love for us, because of his saulabhyam, he steals, he gets caught, he gets hit. That's why Azhvar says, "Kasayade odiyudi kadal seidan avan or nasamaga nambavela nambinam peruman veyinenna tolmadayar venna undan ivan endru yesan endran emperuman evul kedadan." I don't think he is really a weakling. Don't think really this poor woman can beat him up. He is Sri Rama who fought in Lanka and won. That same Rama is this Krishna, he says. But he is doing it out of his saulabhyam for all of us. His intention is good. In the same way, our Azhvar is doing all kinds of mischievous things. But why is Azhvar doing? Because of his intense love for the Lord. When Azhvar is getting mad, when Azhvar shows temper, when Azhvar scolds Perumal, when Azhvar curses Perumal, when Azhvar says, "I'm going to go around tell everybody how bad he is," all that he is doing out of his love for Perumal. And when the Lord knows there is love, it doesn't matter what we do, he is right there waiting to bless us. Perumal wants to bless us. Perumal wants to be with us. And all we are doing is somehow trying to chase him away. Somehow we are trying to prevent. And he is trying to find some loophole to come to us. Some loopholes to bless us. That's what our Periva call as Anyada Sukhritam, Prasangika Sukhritam, Yadrichika Sukhritam. These are all good we do without knowing we do. But he writes them down as he did this good thing, he did good thing, and tries to come and bless us. Quickly to give an example of Yadruchika Sukrutam. Somebody goes to Kanchipuram to buy Pattu Padavai, and that Perumal Yadra. And so because they happened to be in Kanchipuram, they went to buy the product. They didn't go to Kanchipuram to save Varadaraja Perumal, but they are there. So okay, Perumaliyum saved Vara. Then Perumal writes, Perumal on this Yadruchika Sukrutam, they say. And then there is Ajnata Sukrutam. Sometimes this guy built a thin vasal yadam, and then he cleaned it and he put a canopy on it so that night they all can sit and play cards. But in the evening, somebody was going to the local temple, Kovil Tarakala, so they had to wait for half an hour. They said, oh, this place is nice and cool with a shade, let us sit here and say Sahasranamam and go. But his intention was not that Bhagavatal can say Sahasranamam. He wants to play cards. But Perumal says, oh, he helped Vaishnavas, Bhagavatas to come and recite Sahasranamam. He writes it down. And then they say the other way, another guy's Madu ran away. And he chased the cow to catch it. It so happens the cow runs around the temple. So he ran behind the cow. And so Perumal says, oh, he did Pradakshanam of my temple. And he writes it down as Punyam. So that's all he gathers. And that's the only way we have any blessing now. It's because of all this. Not that definitely me, we didn't do anything intentionally good. And so that's how Perumal tries to help all of us. And here, that's what happened to him, our Thirumangai also first. So going back to what is it that he did so bad, that we really bad, but it's good. It looks like bad, but it is good. It looks like bad, but the intention, what is the cause of it is good. And it looks bad, but Bhagavan enjoyed it. And what is it he did? To begin with, Thirumangai seems, we think, we could think, okay, we are somewhat like Thirumangai. We are not, but we could think like that than the other Alvars because of his birth and his upbringing. All the other Alvars are nothing like us. None of them most of them weren't even born to real parents. Poigiyalvar, Buddhatalvar, Peyalvar, they all came out of a flower, they came out of a pond, and so on and so forth. And it doesn't look like they ate any food and all those things. And Nammalvar, the minute he was born, he went and sat in that Puliyamara Bundu. We call it Tirupuli Alvar because he sat there in the tamarind tree, the whole. He went and sat there. Thirumayashi Alvar was born as no form, just some flesh. And then he never ate or drank anything. The Alvars are all like that. And so for us to even to relate to them is almost impossible. But Thirumangai Alvar was born normally in a family to a father and a mother. He was born. And he was born in the Chaturtha Varanam. And it seems their family community was called Kallar Kulam. Kallar in Tamil means thieves, but I don't know whether they were thieves. That's the name of the community. And his father was an ordinary man working in the military, king's Sainyam, the army. So these are all, and he drank milk, he played, and he did normal things. And he went to the school. They taught him all the military things, bows and arrows, horse riding, elephant riding, and fighting with the swords, everything. And he was brilliant. He learnt them all very well. And he won many battles for the king. These are all like us. We all try to, we want our kids to study well, and he all did all that. And the king appreciated him because he won many battles for the king. So he gave him a region called Thirumangai and made him king of that place. So Alvar is known as Thirumangai Mannan. Mannan means king. But he had to pay tax to the king because the Chola king is the real big king and he was king for a smaller area. So he was Thirumangai Mannan. And he was enjoying a rich, happy life with everything. Then he heard about Kumudavalli, a beautiful woman who was highly accomplished, who was very good in every way, in a nearby place. And they say she was an Apsaras who came from heaven and stayed on this earth. So she must have been very beautiful and all those things. Like all of us, he said, okay, then I want to marry her. So he went to her father's place and he asked for her hand. He said, I heard your daughter is such a accomplished, such a beautiful woman, and I want to marry her. Her father was very happy because he himself was a very accomplished, very handsome king. So the father was happy. But the daughter said she will not marry. It's very different from what girls will say these days. She will not marry unless he had Thiruman and he had Samashrayanam. Without Vaishnava Chinnam, she will not marry him. There stops similarities between us and Thirumangai Alvar. Now Thirumangai Alvar said, I will do that and marry you. But he had no acharya to go. He did say, he had no acharyas. And where will he go and get his Samashrayanam? Unlike us, he went to the temple, he went to Tirunarayur Nambi and asked that Perumal, do me Samashrayanam. Which we won't do and it won't happen what for us. And
But he is not a Brahmin.
he was not a, but Samashrayanam everybody can get. Even you can give Samashrayanam to animals. You can do the Sangha Chakra Lanchanam to Pana in your house. Okay, so that's it's not a Brahmin thing. And Perumal doesn't see if you're a Brahmin or a non-Brahmin or a male or a female. When it comes to Shastram, yes. When it comes to, can a woman become an Archagar, can a Shudra becomes an Archagar, can you do Vedam and all those things, then there is Shastram and we have to obey Shastram. We have no business asking question, why not I do that, why should that person do it? If we do what we are allowed to do well, we have done something great. People don't want to do what they are allowed to do. And they will say, why can't I do which somebody else is allowed to do? People who are allowed to do that, they don't do it finally. So this is not right. But for him, he went to this Nachiyar Kovil Nambi for Samashrayanam. Maybe he went there because that Perumal is a real henpecked Perumal. Yeah, Perumal himself is henpecked. Avalandri avan karyam seyyan. He will not do anything unless she says, okay, do it. Otherwise, this is what he always does. And Nambi, Narayur Nambi is more than all real everything. Even when he got married, she was the daughter of a Rishi. That Rishi said, I don't want to give my daughter in marriage to you because she's my only daughter. I brought her up ரொம்ப செல்லமா வளர்த்துட்டேன். அவ சொன்ன பேச்சு தான் அவ கேட்கணும். அவ இன்னொருத்தர் சொல்ற பேச்சை கேட்க மாட்டா. பெருமாள் சார் அவ சொல்ற பேச்சையே நான் கேட்கிறேன், நான் அவளே கல்யாணம் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். And he married her. And in Tirunarayur, in most temples, Tayar doesn't come out of the temple. Tayar is known as Paditanda Patini. Her utsavam goes within the Madhuswar of the temple. In Tirunarayur, Tayar, Manjulavalli Tayar goes ahead and in Hamsa Vahanam, in Garuda Vahanam, he goes behind. The Garudan goes behind the Hamsam. That's the way it is to be done, that's the way it is. So maybe because now he wants to obey this girl he wants to marry, he thought this guy will empathize, he'll understand. He went to Narayur and asked Perumal, and Perumal did it for him. And they say Perumal was invisible, other people couldn't see, and he got Samashrayanam from Perumal. And if you go to Tirunarayur, apparently, the Vigraham of Perumal is leaning forward as if doing Samashrayanam with the Sankham in his right hand. As if he's doing it. That's how the pose of Perumal today in the temple. And he got that Samashrayanam, because I had to go to so many other things. Again, I can't look at time. And he he came back to the house and told her, I'm already, see, I look like a real Vaishnava, you can marry me. She said, I'll marry you, but you have to feed 1008 Bhagavatas every day, like that for 1 year you have to do if I marry you. He promised. He didn't think if it's possible because he wanted to marry her. He promised and marriage took place, but he was a king, so he thought he could do it. And he was doing it for a while. And then he couldn't pay the tax, so he didn't pay the tax because he used it all. He didn't go to the mall. He used it all for the Bhagavatas. He spent it in doing Bhagavata Tadiyaradhanam. Scriptures say, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnor Aradhanam Param. There are so many Aradhanams people do, but there is one that is supreme. That is Thiruvaradhanam to Vishnu. Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnor Aradhanam Param Tatapi Parataram Proktam Tadiyaradhanam Param. There is one that is better than best. What is better than best is Aradhanam to Vishnu Bhakta. To do Aradhanam to Hari Dasas is superior even to doing Aradhanam. Bhagavan himself says in Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Aswadantramaham Dvija, I don't know, it will come to me. He says, what I am is Aswatantra Iva Brahmanne Bhaktanam Param. I am their devotee. I am my devotee of my devotees. Sadhunam Grasta Hridayo Bhaktaihi Bhaktajana Priyaha. I am fond, he doesn't say fond of my Bhakta. Bhaktaihi Bhaktajana Priyaha. I am fond of people who are devotees of my devotees. That is what he tells Durvasa when he runs during the Ambarisha story. That is what the Lord is, and that's what our Thirumangai, he is not yet Thirumangai, Thirumangai Mannan. His name was Parakalan and Neelan. When he was born, he was given the name Neelan. Apparently, he was very dark. So Neelam is dark. So they named the child very dark. So his name was Neelan. And the king gave him the name Parakalan. Kalan means Yaman, the Yamadharmaraja. And people are so scared of him. Everybody is scared of death. The most scary thing for everybody ultimately is death. And so he is Kalan. Para means opposing people. Thirumangai was Yaman or Kalan to the people who opposed him because he was such a great veer and a fighter. So he was given the name Parakalan. After he got this land, he became Thirumangai Mannan. So this Thirumangai Mannan, he was such a very sincere wise son. He was doing this Tadiyaradhanam, spent all the tax money. The story goes more and more. He is going to Kanchipuram and all. We don't want to go all there because we will get stuck. Finally, it reached a stage where now he had to rob. Then they say he relieved these extremely rich people of their ill-gotten wealth and used it to feed Bhagavatas. When some people are very rich, that means they are already thieves. Only because they are all stealing food from poor people. Because of that only this is Ishavasya Vidat Sarvam. This world is God's. We should take from it only what we need. When these rich people have much more than what they need, it actually belongs to some other hungry people. So he was relieving them of this ill-gotten wealth, and he didn't take it home. He never went home. It used it to feed these thousands of poor Bhagavatas. He was doing it for a while, and then maybe the Lord thought this is enough of stealing and feeding. We have to give him Mayarvara Madinalam, the real true knowledge which blossoms as bhakti. So far, he is doing it all. He is doing this Bhagavata, Tadiyaradhanam and everything, not because of bhakti. He was doing it because he loved the wife, and also I think because once he made a promise, he didn't want to say, well, I stay. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to be honest. So he was doing it. So one day what happened, he was waiting under hiding behind a tree, Arasamaram, and Perumal and Thayar, Vayalali, Manavalan and Thayar, they were coming as newly married couple and laden with expensive jewelry. He saw them coming in, he was so happy. If I rob this couple, I can be happy for many, many days. So he went and he encountered them, and Perumal and Thayar were shaking in fear. And then he told them to take all their jewelry and put on this towel. So they put everything on that. And Perumal could not remove, even men used to wear like a meti, like a thing on their toes. Perumal could not remove it. Then he thought he was pretending, and he said, you can take it, I will take it, I'll take it with my teeth. So he put his foot at the Lord's lotus feet, and he put his mouth on his foot. My God, what foot it toy all our toyerar sudaradi toludeden manane says namadvar. Even his toyeram, even Lord's toyeram means misery, sadness. All of them, they vanish if only we look, if we can put our head at that lotus feet. And this Thiridan, this thief, had the bhagyam to do it. There is a Vishnohoy Pade Parama Madhva Utsaha. The Amritam is dripping from that foot, and there he could keep his head. And as the luck would have, as soon as he keeps his foot at his head at the Lord's lotus feet, something great happens to him. Now he took it out. They put that also in the towel. He made it in a bundle, and he tried to lift it. He couldn't lift it. And those days people knew all kinds of mantrams and sunyam and all kind of whatever those things. With that they can do a lot of things. He thought this guy knew something. That's why he made this immovable, this towel. So he asked him, what is your mantram? What mantram did you put so that I can lift it? Tell me your mantram. And he had his sword in his hand held high. And Perumal said, you want my mantram? Come close, I'll tell you. And he had his head at Lord's lotus foot just a second ago. And in his ear, Perumal told him the Moola Mantram. He asked for the mantram to take the towel. He gave him the Moola Mantram, which helps us cross this Samsara Sagaram and go to Sri Vaikuntham. Kalyanamagavatu Kartayugam Swadharmam Prakhyapayan Pranihiteshu Naradikeshu Adyam Kama Pradikatoratam Ashtajakram Bandhusatam Badarikashrama Tapasonaha. Badarikashrama Tapasan. The Lord in Badarikashram, himself being the Rishi and himself being the Nara, the student, he taught the Tiruvishtaksharam to himself. in Badrikashrama. Other ones were at least taught to other people, but Tirumantram, Ashtaksha Mahamantram, he was the teacher and he was the student in Badrikashrama. That Mahamantram he taught to this robber with the sword in his hand. Swami Desikan says, Sarvajnanirathil Sarvartha Grahanam Pandinar Oruvar. Bhagavan is Sarvajna. He is the one that knows everything. Sarvartha Grahanam Pandinar. Grahanam is to take it from him. Sarvartham. Artham has two meanings. Artham means wealth. Artham also means meaning. He took all his jewelry and also he took the mantram from Lord. And how are we supposed to get from Acharya? Tatvidhi pranibadena pariprashnena sevaya. We should not go empty-handed to the temple, to the Acharya, to old people, to see Riddhahastena nopaye. We shouldn't go empty-handed. Take some upaharam. You take something, take some dakshana to the Acharya, our sevikadam, service pannanam. With the most humility, we should beg him. And he should feel you deserve it. And then he will teach you. Here he took his wealth. And then he had a sword in his hand. And then he asked for the mantram. And our Lord, our God, his kindness, his compassion, his love for us, his vatsalyam is such, he gave him the Moola Mantram. This scenario is totally not right. But he did it to him. That is the greatness of Perumal. And that is the greatness of our Azhvar. That's what they say. Manavala Mamunigal, when he went on Divyadesa Yatra and all, when he went there, he was struck when he went, Iduvo Tiruvarasu, Iduvo Tiruvali, Iduvo Tirumangam Kudi Ennum Oor, Idudano Vettum Kaliyan Verutti, Nedumalidam, Yetteluttum Padithayidam. This is Tiruvarasu. Everything Arasa is God. Everything is Arasa. In this, under this Arasa Maram, this guy, our Azhvar with Vettum Kaliyan Verutti. Vetradu means, he says, I'll chop off your head unless you tell me. This Vettum Kaliyan Verutradu means to meritradu, threatening. By threatening with the sword in his hand, this Azhvar got this Ashtakshara Mantram right here in this place under this tree, and I have come here. That makes you, I don't know, makes you so moved by the whole scene. That's what happened to Manavala Mahamunigal when he saw that place. And here we see our rogue. Our rogue got such a wealth, Sthiruvishtakshara Upadesam, by scolding and threatening and with a sword and stealing all his money from Perumal. That is the great. Then, within a moment, this robber, this Thirumangai Mannan becomes Thirumangai Azhvar. Immediately he got knowledge. Madirvara, Mayarvara, Madinalam Kadachi. Immediately he became an Azhvar. He burst out saying, Vadinen Vadi, Varundinen Manattal, Terumtudal, Terumsudal, Idumbayil Pirandu, Kudinen Kudi, Edayavartamudum, Avartarum, Kadaviye Karadi, Vodinen Vodi, Wilmanum Purula. பொருளால் நாடினேன் நாடி நான் கண்டுகொண்டேன் நாராயணா என்னும் நாமம் ஆவியே அமுதே என நினைந்துருகி அவரவர் பணமுறை துணையா பாவியேன் உணராதெத்தனை பகலும் பழுது போய் ஒழிந்தன நாட்கள் தூவிசேர் அன்னம் துணையுடன் பொருளும் சூழ்புனல் குடந்தையே தொழுதேன் நாவினால் உய்ய நான் கண்டுகொண்டேன் Narayana ennum namam. The Upanishad says, Mata, Pita, Brata, Nivasaha, Suhrit, Gatihi, Narayanaha. And he says that in Tamil, Embiran, Ennudai Sutram, Enakaras, Ennudai Vanar, Ambinal, Arakar, Virukola, Neriki, our wheel says, Segutay, Mandal, Vambulam, Solai, Madama, Madil. தஞ்சை மா கோவிலே வணங்கி நெஞ்சினால் உய்யனான் கண்டுகொண்டேன் நம்பிகால் உய்யனான் கண்டுகொண்டேன் நாராயணா என்னும் நாமம். He speaks about the Narayana Namam. Just say the name Narayana, and he speaks about how bad he was, how he was running after money, how he was running after women, how all these ephemeral, mundane pleasures. Swami Desikan talks about all these like Anityam. Perumal himself says, Asukam, Anityam, Imam Prapti Bhajaswamam. All this wealth is asukam. What we think as sukham is really asukam. We think all this Chakaramangalam meeting, how wonderful, then we know what it is. We say all this pudiyora is so nice, we know what happens. Whatever it is, all this sukham is actually asukam. And even if you think it is sukham, it is anityam. What is today we have this, we don't have it tomorrow. Imam Prapti Bhajaswamam says Sri Krishna, and Swami Deskan speaks about how terrible we are running after all these worthless alpasthiraihi, asukajaihi, asukavasanaihi, dukhanvitaihi, abhimanamolaihi, and on and on and on. That's what it is. Alva says, I've been running after this. Now I have the Narayana Namam. Then he gave up everything. He was no more a king. He left his wealth. He left his kingdom. He left everything. Now he is a nidhi of Jnanam, Bhakti and Vairagyam. Alvar traveled all the way from Tirupiridi in Himalayas. They say it's even further north from Badrikashrama, somewhere far. From there all the way down to Tirukurungudi in south. He walked all across the Bharat Desam, and he went to so many temples. Because Alvar went to those temples have become Divya Desams. We have 108 Divya Desam. Of those, two is known, one is Paramapadam and Kshirabdi and all. Of the 106 Divya Desams, 86 Divya Desams are sung by Thirumangai Alvar him. And he is also a prolific poet. Nammalvar and Thirumangai Alvar has given the greatest number of pasurams. Nammalvar has given 1296 pasurams. Thirumangai Alvar 2053 pasurams. So many pasurams, so many Divya Desams. He has given us Divya Desams. He has worshipped so many Archa Murtis and taught us the happiness, the bliss of worshipping here and now the Lord. He says people want to go to Vaikuntham after death. You go to Vaikuntham and you worship some god sitting up there, and they don't go to the temples. Here now, some people do, they go to the temple. And then, the Tarayana Satirkum, but finally they open and then they do Kalpura Arati, then they close their eyes. Because they're concentrating. Since they don't see the Perumal, they close their eyes. அவளுக்கு தமிழ் வியாக்கியானத்தில் என்ன சொல்றான்னா, மேய்ச்சல் தலையிலே அசை போடுவாரை போலே. மேய்ச்சல் தலையிலே அசை போடுறதுன்னா, when the cows, they are allowed to go and graze for, let us say, for 2 hours. And there is a lot of grass. They have to eat as much as they could in those 2 hours. And then they'll take them and tie them in the shed. Then they chew the cud. Then they keep doing for whatever number of hours. That's how they enjoy a lot of food. But if these cows start doing this asai powder, the chewing cow, when they are allowed these 2 hours, and then this guy goes and ties them back, what is the use? So these people who close their eyes are like those cows. Now take him in. Then you go home and close your eyes and you see Thiruvengadamudaiyan in your heart. You see Ranganatha, you see Parthasarathi, you see Sarangapani. You do that later. Alvar says, Yerar muyal vittu kakai bin povade. Perumal is here in this temple for us to go and worship. Instead, these people want to go and sit in some forest. He says, don't do it. Don't do any self-mortification. Don't fast. Don't do all those dumb things. Just eat this Chakarapongal and worship this Perumal here. This is joy, this is fun, this is available. You are giving it up because you want to have something up there afterwards, after you die. That is like moyal, people who eat meat. For them, if they eat the moyal is the bunny rabbit, a hare. If they eat it, that mamsam is nice, big, and you can eat it. If you don't, then you are going to try catch a crow that's flying up. It's hard to catch. And what are you going to get from the crow to eat? No use. So Perumal in Vaikuntham is like the crow. And Perumal in the temple is like the moyal, and just eat it here. And so he did that for us coming all over. And here again, Alvar is a rogue because, see, other Alvars won't fight with Perumal. They only worship, they wait. They know thy will be done. That's what they should say. The Lord's will be done. The Lord will do for me what is good for me. I have to wait for him to do it for me. This is what all Alvars practice, and that's what is right. And sometimes some Alvars fight, then Alvar doesn't fight. Alvars fight when in Nayika Bhavam. She fights. Then when she fights, it's called Pranay Kalaham. It's between, say, the husband and the wife. And the wife gets mad at the husband. That can happen all the time, and that's fine. And she'll scold him. That's fine. And if he comes late, Or he says he'll come and he doesn't come, then she's going to get mad at him. But then they fight and then they get back together. That's what happens. And when Alvars, even when they fight in this Nayika Bhavam, they don't fight with any Perumal in any temple. They only fight with Krishna. Krishna is not here. Krishna lived long time ago in Dwapara Yugam. And Nammalvar does that, Kulasekara Alvar does that, they become a Gopika. They become a Nayika. And then they say, Krishna told me to wait under the jasmine arbor. I've been standing and waiting. It's so cold on this Yamuna Thiram. I'm shaking in cold and he didn't come. But I see him going with another girl there. And then she gets mad at him and she scolds him and those kind of things. Nothing, Alvar doesn't scold and he's not scolding the Perumal here. But Thirumangai Alvar scolds, Alvar fights with Perumal here in a Divya Desam. That is unheard of and that's not even right, quote unquote right. Alvar was going to walks. Alvar has been walking and walking all the way from Himalayas down. He came to a place called Tiruvindalur. Tiruvindalur is near Mayavaram in Tanjore district. Parimala Ranganathan is the god's name. Perumal came to Tiruvindalur to worship. He came with his heart full of love, full of bhakti. He wanted to do his Vachika Kainkaryam. He wanted to do Mangala Sasanam for Perumal. But when he came, the time was such, the terrace the Kovil was closed and it will take several hours before the Kovil will be open. And Alvar did not want to wait. Thirumangai Alvar has come and Perumal has closed the terrace. That's not right. So he tells Perumal, Nummai Toludom, Num Tamakku Pani Seidirukkum Nummadiyum, Immai Kinbam Petrom Enda Indalurire, Nemmaiko Emmai Karumam Alittu, Orukal Ava Endirangi, Nammai Orukal Kati Nadandal Nangal Uyome. Won't we be happy? We are your adiyom, we are your servants, we belong to you. We worship you. Everybody knows I am a Vaishnava and I am a Vishnu Bhakta. I am here to worship you. And can't you ask me to give you a service and take my Mangala Sasanam and then can you walk back? If I close my eyes, I see you. He says, Chindaitanul Ningadirunda Tiruve, Maruvinia Mainda, Andanali Male, Soleimara Kadire, Nanda Vilakin Sudare, Narayur Nindra Nambi, Yen Yendai, Indalurai, Adier, Kirimirangai. When I Sindai then means my mind, when I close my eyes, I see the beautiful Parimala Ranganathan. I open my eyes, I see the screen. How can you do this? He says, that's right. This ILR, Yesodum, Iduve Aitu Nambi. He says all people love. Yes, that means they are making fun of us. That what they are doing is right. You know what they are telling? These Vaishnavas, they don't go to any other god. They don't go to any other temple. They call themselves Vishnu Bhakta, Vishnu Bhakta, Vishnu Bhakta. And this Vishnu doesn't give anything fast. He doesn't give anything in time. So these are all fools. That's what they say and that's right. ஆசை வழுவாது ஏத்தும் எமக்கின் இழுக்காய்த்து தேசமறிய உமக்கே ஆளாய் திரிவோமுக்கு தேசமறிய உமக்கே ஆளாய் திரிவோமுக்கு நாடும் நகரமும் நன்கறிய நமோ நாராயணா என்று everybody, the entire town knows us to be Vaishnavas, to be Vishnu Bhaktas and we come தேசமறிய உமக்கே ஆளாய் திரிவோமுக்கு காசின் ஒளியில் திகழும் வண்ணம் காட்டீர் எம்பெருமான் வாசிவல்லீர் இந்தளூரீர் வாழ்ந்தே போம் நீரே. Now he's cursing Perumal. You beautiful Lord. வாழ்ந்தே போம் நீரே. நன்னா இருங்கோ சௌக்கியமா இருன்னு. This நன்னா இரு சௌக்கியமா இருக்கிறது நீ நாசமா போன்றது அர்த்தம். This நன்னா இருன்னு சொல்றது is not நன்னா இருக்கிறது. He says சொல்லாது ஒழியகில்லேன் உன் அறிந்த சொல்லில் உன் அடியார் எல்லோரோடும் மொக்க எண்ணி இருந்தீர் என்னை நல்லார் அறிவீர் தீயார் அறிவீர் நமக்கிங்குலையில் எல்லாம் அறிவீர் ஈதே அறிவீர் இந்தளூரீரே. You know everything they say. Thirukudanai Aandavan used to say this pasaram in some context and say, ஆத்துக்காரர் அசடுன்னு சொல்லாதேன்னு சொல்றா, இப்படி முத்த குத்தரங்கா வாங்கி வந்தா சொல்லாது என்ன பண்றதுன்னு தமிழ் தெரிஞ்ச வாழ்க்கை தெரியும். சொல்லாதான்னு எப்படி சொல்லாம இருக்கிறது? சொல்லாத ஒழியகில்லேன் இந்தளூரே உம்மது அடியார் எல்லோரோடும் ஒக்க எண்ணிருந்தீர் என்னை நல்லார் அறிவீர் தீயார் அறிவீர் நமக்கு இங்கு உலகில் எல்லாம் அறிவீர். What are you thinking me to be? You think I am like everybody else? And later, you think I am Nammalvar or something? Vandu okanda, if you are not there, I'll sit, I'll cry, I'll wait. I'm not those people. I'm not Nammalvar. I am here. I'm Thirumangai Alvar has come, and you are not showing yourself to me. And then ஆசிரியரி வாக்கில் பெருமாள் சொன்னாராம், I have so many colors. I have sport 4 colors in 4 yugam, and I'm wondering which one I should show, because Thirumangai Azhvar has come. முன்னை வண்ணம் பாலின் வண்ணம் முழுதும் நிலை நின்ற பின்னை வண்ணம் கொண்டல் வண்ணம் வண்ணம் என்னும் கால் பொன்னின் வண்ணம் மணியின் வண்ணம் புரையும் திருமேனி இன்ன வண்ணம் என்று காட்டீர் இந்தலூரேரே அச்சோ ராமா. Who cares? You are beautiful whichever form you take, whichever color you take. I want to see you, and here you are thinking what to give me, what to show me. திருக்குடந்தை ஆண்டவர் used to say this also, and used to say, ஒரு மாப்பிள்ளை போயிருந்தார் மாமியாரத்துக்கு. So this மாமியார் had put a வாழை இலை, and the மாப்பிள்ளை is sitting there to eat, and she had a big tambalam in her hand, and she was standing in front of him, and this poor மாப்பிள்ளை is looking at his இலை. Nothing is coming into the இலை. கொஞ்ச நாளையாச்சு ஒண்ணுமே அந்த மாமி சாதிக்கல. Then this மாப்பிள்ளை asked her, ஒண்ணுமே சாதிக்கல, வெறும் உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கேன். மாமியார் says, என்ன பண்ணுறது, இந்த அவ்வளோ பட்சணம் வச்சுருக்கேன், இந்த லட்டு இருக்குது, ஜிலேபி இருக்குது, ஜாங்கிரி இருக்குது, பாதாம் அல்வா இருக்குது, மைசூர் பாகு இருக்குது, இதெல்லாம் இருக்குது. எதை முதல்ல சாதிக்கணும், எதில் ரெண்டாவது சாதிக்கணும்னு யோஜனை பண்ணுறேன்னு நானும். எதையோ ஒன்று சாதிச்சா தேவை, ஒன்றுமே இலையில விழலையே, எல்லாமே நல்லா தான் இருக்குமேன்னு. That is how this Azhvar says, show me something, everything is good. Thirukudanai Aandavan here used to say one more, because he was Kumbakonam, he could talk like that. He used to say, எல்லாமே நன்னா தான் இருக்கும், மாமியார் பண்றதுக்காலே அம்மாவை பண்ணிருக்கா நன்னா இருக்கிறதுக்கு, மாமியார் பண்ணா எல்லாமே நன்னா தான் இருக்கும். So the Azhvar saying, show me something, or else he says, வாசிவல்லி இந்தளூரில் வாழ்ந்தே போம் நீரே பரிமள ரங்கநாதன். The Lord is so fragrant. ஸோ வியாக்கியானத்தில் என்ன சொல்கிறா, வாழ்ந்தே போம் நீரேன்னா வாட் இஸ் ஹி சேயிங், நீயே உன்னை கட்டிக்கொண்டு, நீயே வியாக்கியானம்னா தமிழ், நீயே உன்னை கட்டிக்கொண்டு, நீயே உன்னை பார்த்து கொண்டு, நீயே உன்னை மோந்து கொண்டு இரும். நீயே உன்னை கட்டிக்கோ, யூ ஹக் யுவர் செல்ஃப், யூ லுக் அட் யுவர் செல்ஃப் இன் த மிரர், யூ ஸ்மெல் யுவர் செல்ஃப் பிகாஸ் யூ ஆர் பரிமள ரங்கநாதன். பி ஹாப்பி, ஐ எம் லீவிங், யூ லிவ் ஹாப்பிலி. This being happy is நாசமா போ. இதுக்கு where do they நம்ம ஆழ்வார்கள் பாடியிருக்கா, ஆச்சாரியாளராரும் வியாக்கியானம் கொடுக்கறதுனால we can enjoy. The beauty is most of the pasurams are Krishna param, and the வியாக்கியானத்துக்கு எல்லாம் ராமாயணத்திலேருந்து எடுப்பா. So you are reading the pasurams and you go to Ramayana, you come back, and the Rama, that's what somebody said, it seems, இந்த வைஷ்ணவத்தை அழிச்சுடணும், இந்த கோவில் இடிச்சுடணும், கோவிந்தராஜரை கொண்டு சமுதிரத்தில் போட்டணும், all those things. And somebody said, you can இடிக்கலாம், you can do whatever to this stone and buildings. If you cannot destroy Vaishnavam as long as there is Ramayanam and there is Thiruvaimozhi. And so these two go so beautifully hand in hand. இந்த இடத்துல நீ நன்னா இருன்னு சொல்ற, நான் நீ நாசமா போன்னு சொல்றான்றதுக்கு ராமாயணத்துல விஸ்வாமித்ரர் comes to Dasharatha. Vishwamitra came for the single purpose of taking Rama with him பேச்சுக்கு யக்ஞ சம்ரக்ஷணம் பண்றதுக்கு. So when he came, Dasharatha was so happy to see Vishwamitra. He never expected Vishwamitra will come, because இவாத்துல இருக்கிறது வசிஷ்டருக்கும் விஸ்வாமித்திரருக்கும் 18 புராணத்தில் சண்டை. So he didn't think Vishwamitra will give him a visit. Vishwamitra was a great rishi. Now he had come, and Dasharatha was very happy. He said, whatever you ask, I will give you. Then Vishwamitra said, send your son Rama with me to the forest for yajna samrakshanam. And Dasharatha said, who is bothering you? Who is not letting you do this yajna? And Vishwamitra said, ayyo, these are terrible, violent, terrorist Rakshasas. They are all Ravana's outposts out here. And those people come, and at the last day, Purnahuti, both they come and they destroy the whole thing, and I need Rama's help. Now Dasharatha had really done tapas. 60,000 வருஷம் tapas பண்ணி he had his child. This son is not even 16-year-old. His beloved little boy. This Rama had no experience in going to any war yet. And this rishi wants to take him to the forest to fight with most notorious, most violent Rakshasas. Dasharatha told him so many alternatives. Even he will go to fight. He will send his army. He will do anything except can't send Rama. He says, no, I can't send Rama. Though in the beginning he said, I'll do whatever you want. Now Vishwamitra got mad. He said, Mithya pratignya kakutsta sukhi bhava suhurut vrataha. Hey, Mithya pratignya, you made false promise, Sukhi Bhava, Saukyamara. After lying, after making a false promise to a rishi, Saukyamara எப்படி Surat Vrataha, with your near and dear. அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? நான் போறேன், நான் எப்படி வந்தனோ அப்படியே போறேன், நீ சௌக்கியமா இருன்னு விஸ்வாமித்திரர் தசரதன் கிட்ட சொன்னார். தசரதன் கிட்ட அந்த மாதிரி அது எப்படி சுகி பவன்றது அதே மாதிரி இங்கே வாழ்ந்திருப்போம் நீரே. அந்த மாதிரி ஆழ்வார் was cursing Perumal and Perumal blessed him and he showed him his form and then Azhvar moved on to the next town he went. This is how he was treating Perumal and getting blessed, and even this is okay. After this, Azhvar, Thirumangai Azhvar does something that no other Azhvar has done, which is Madal Urdal. The Madal Urdal na enna, they say it is like Brahmastram. Brahmastram you should be used by a king as the last resort because it causes tremendous and widespread destruction. The kings should fight with all kind of other astrams, and if nothing else works, absolutely necessary, then they can use Brahmastram. In the same way, this Madalurdal in this literature is something like this. What it is when a young man and woman, they want to get married, they both promised each other, okay, I'm going to marry you and all those things, and then for some reason it doesn't take place. The guy doesn't marry the girl. No, the girl doesn't marry the guy. So then what? He would force her to marry him. What he'll do to insult her, he will demolish her good reputation. She has no other way but to marry him. He'll do that much. He'll take a palm front and he'll use it like a horse and he'll gallop on that. So which means he'll get all hurt and he'll be bleeding all over with the hurt and he won't eat and his hair will be all disheveled and he'll go around telling she's so bad, she promised that she'll marry me and I love her so much and now finally she's cheating, and he will do all that. And if he does that and goes around their village, then nobody will marry that girl afterwards. So she won't get married, she has to marry him. So she'll marry him. And even if she somehow still says, no, her parents will make her marry, it seems even the king will interfere and make her marry him. So that's what a madal is, and that will happen. In Tamil literature, the literature does not allow women to do this. If a woman who originally said she'll marry, refuses to marry the guy, he can do this and marry her. But if it's vice versa, if the man refuses to marry her, the woman shall not do it in Tamil literature. Thirumangai Azhvar was a great poet in Tamil literature. He knew it. He himself says, "Mannokin annanadayar alaresa adavarmel madaloorar ennum vaachagam Tamil murayil கேட்டு அறிவதுண்டு யாம் அதனை தெளியோம் மண்ணும் வடநெறியே வேண்டினோம்." He says, Tamil literature says, women, alariyasam mean for other people to scold, make fun of. Women will not do this. As per we have ketom, arindom, we know, everybody knows, we don't care, we don't follow it. He is writing literature in Tamil and he says, I don't care for the grammatic rule of Tamil literature. But in Sanskrit literature it is allowed. So he says, Mannum Vadaneriye Vendino. I follow Sanskrit literature grammar for writing Tamil literature. That's what I'll do. He says that's what he did. And he should not do it, but he did 2 times. There are 2 madals, Siriya Thirumadal and Periya Thirumadal. And what is now in these madals, Azhvar has become a woman. He is now Parakala Nayaki. And when Azhvar become Nayaki, we say the premam jastiya poi, it becomes intense and Jnanam takes a back seat, and because of premam these people have become women and so on. But in reality that's right, because we are all women. Sayesha Vasudevasau Sakshat Purusha Uchyate Stri Prayam Vitarat Sarvam Jagat Brahma Purasaram. Starting from even Brahma himself, Chaturmukha Brahma himself, all of us are women and we all have one husband and he is Vishwapati Narayana. So for him to think he is the woman and Narayana is his husband, that's fine. There's no problem with that. But here in this poetry, she is writing this. And what is she trying to do? Pramanattayum, Prameyattayum, அழிக்க பார்க்கிறாள். She is trying to destroy Pramanam and Prameyam by doing this. She is doing this to get him. She says she is going to go all over. And she ஓரானை கொம்பு சுத்து ஓரானை கோல் விடுத்த பேரானை செங்கண் நெடியானை தேன் துழாய் மாலான் மாலாய் தேன் துழாய் தாரானை தாமரை போல் கண்ணானை எண்ணரும் சீர் பேரானை பேராயமும் பிதற்றி ஊரா ஊரா நிகழினும் ஊராதொழியேன் நான். All this because he's masquerading. He's actually bad. He's, like we can steal, we can cheat people in those days in one city, and in Madras I can do that and go on to Bombay and pretend I'm a nice person and live. Nobody in Bombay would know this is what I've been doing in Madras. This is what he's doing. He's bad. And in Tirupati they say he's full of vatsalyam. In Kanchipuram they say he's full of he's so generous. In Srirangam he says he's so full of karunyam, so on. But none of that is true. It's all put on. I know, because I've been there, and I'm going to go to all this. In Thirumangai it's even more. I'm going to all those cities, Divya Desams, and Vandavalatha Vadeka Pore. I am going to go and tell how bad he is, where people are cheated and are thinking he's good. And that's what she says. And Pramanathayum Prameyathum Adikaradana. Pramanamna, it's the knowledge that teaches you about something. That's Pramanam. And Prameyam is that you learn through the Pramanam. Prameyam is what you learn through the Pramanam. For us, Pramanam is Vedam, and Prameyam is Saveda Vedyanana Prabhu Narayanam. Veda is the Sarvai Ahameva Vedya. Veda Aksharani Yavanti Tavanti Harinamani. Hari, Narayana, Shriyapati, Sridharan, Srinivasan, Vasudevan. He is the meaning of entire Aksharams of Veda is the Lord. அவனையும் அழிக்க போறேன், வேதத்தையும் அழிக்க போறேன். That's how she starts. And in Siriya Thirumangal, even as she starts, she says பாரோர் சொல்லப்படும் மூணன்றே. There are 4 purushartham according to Vedas. Dharmartha kama moksham. She forgets moksham. Dharmam artham kama மூணு தான் இருக்கு. ஆறார் இதனிடையில் அதனை எய்துவார் இருக்கலையும் எய்துவார். அதனை is காமம். Just get காமம். தானா இது ரெண்டும் வரும். Why do you want money? For காமம். What is Sugam? You attain Kamam here means Kamam for the Lord. You don't think he is talking about Kamam of the cinema actress or something like that. This is Kamam Kannanikke Amadu Kamam. This is love for him. This is devotion for Kannan. That is the Kamam she is talking about now, not any other Kamam. That Kamam I want to enjoy it right here and now. இக்கும்மை முலைகள் இடர்த்தீட கோவிந்தர் கோர் குற்றேவல் இம்மை பிறவி செய்யாதே இனிப்போ செய்யும் தவம் தான் என் ஆண்டாள். கோவிந்தனுக்கு if I cannot hug him, if I cannot do intimate service to him here and now, இனிப்போய் செய்யும் தவம் தான் நீ வாண்டா எல்லாம் ஆயிடட்டும், அப்புறம் எங்கேயோ போய் say I don't want it, I want it today, I want it now, I want here with my Govinda, she says. And that is what he's talking about, this Kamam. That is the only important thing. The other things don't mean. And then he says the whole thing, they say you go to this Purushartham Kam, fourth Purushartham of going to moksha, the whole thing is humbug. Don't believe it. Because what scriptures say, what Azhvar Periyar also says, இருளகற்றும் வெங்கதிரோன் மண்டலத்தினூடு ஏற்றி வைத்து ஏணி வாங்கி அருள் கொடுத்து அடியவரை ஆட்கொள்வான் அவரும் ஊர் அணி அரங்கமே. The Lord இருளகற்றும் வெங்கதிரோன் மண்டலத்தோடு ஏற்றி வைத்து ஏணி வாங்கி. We go to Vaikuntham through the sun. There is a hole. Thirumangai Azhvar also says மன்னும் வெங்கதிரோன் மண்டலத்தின் நன்னடூல் அன்னதோர் இல்லினூடு போய் வீடென்னும் தொன்னகரம் அடைந்தாரை சொல்லுமீன்கள். அந்த சூரிய இல்லின்னா துவாரம், ஒரு ஹோல். சூரிய மண்டலத்தில் there is a hole. Through that we have to go and go to Vaikuntha Lokam, Parama Padam, and there we have to worship the Lord. And Periyar says, ஏற்றி வைத்து ஏணி வாங்கி. ஏணி வாங்குறதுன்னா ஏணி எடுத்துடுறது. So you climb on the ladder and go to Vaikuntham and then they'll ஏணி எடுத்துடுவா. There is no descending, coming back. You stay there forever. And this is all Vedanta is telling us now. Parakala Nayaki in the Sri Thirumangal says, don't believe all that humbug. Now I'll tell you what it is. காரார் புறவியேள் பூண்ட தனியாழி தேரோர் மண்டலத்தை கீண்டு புக்கு ஆறாகுமுதம் அங்கெய்தி வாராதொருவதொன்றுண்டே ஓராமையாமு உரைக்குமே கேள். What she says, I'm telling you, the Tamil means ஆராய்ச்சி, to understand, to do research, to find out. This whole thing is varamai. People are all telling this. You know why? My father told me, and his father told me, and his tata told me, and his acharya. Nobody tested this. No, nobody did any research. அவ சொன்னா நான் சொல்லேன் குழந்தை சொல்றதா இப்படியே சொல்லிட்டு போறாளே தவிர இல்லை. No research is done. There is no truth. Nothing is this. Because look, they say in the Megha Mandalam, the sun is there. Is the sun on the cloud? Where is the sun? Where are the clouds? Who are the என்ன பஜனை இது? கடல் மேகத்துக்கு மேல சூரியன் இருக்கான். அந்த சூரியன்ல ஒரு ஹோல் இருக்கான். அந்த சூரியன் and then தனியாடி and he has a chariot and how many wheels? One wheel, not two, not four. And how many horses are dragging this chariot? 7. 4 8 ஒரு சக்கரம் 7 குதிரை இந்த மேகத்துக்கு மேல போறது. And there is a சாரதி, has no legs. The driver has no legs. And this is the Google பண்ற காரா இருந்தாலும் போகும் போல இருக்கு. இது இப்படிப்பட்ட சேரியட்ல இந்த சூரியன் போறது. And அங்க வந்து there is a hole, and through the hole in the sun you go up. So சரி, அங்க இந்த ஆறாவமுதம் அங்கே அங்க போனா ஆறாவமுதம் தெவிட்டாத ஆனந்தம், பரம அவ்வளோ ஆனந்தம். அங்கே போனா பரிபூர்ண பிரம்மானுபவம். அப்புறம் சரி, அங்கே யாருன்னா போயிட்டு வந்தாளா? யார் போயிட்டு வந்தா காமினா வாராது ஒருவதன்றும் அங்கே போனா யாரும் வரமாட்டேன். ரொம்ப சௌரியமா போச்சு. இப்படி எல்லாம் சூரியன் வழியா போய் இந்த குதிரையில இங்கே யாரா போயிட்டு வந்தாளா ஆறாவதுன்னு கேட்டா வாராமை ஒருவதொன்றும் ஒருத்தர் வரலன்ட்டா யாரை கேட்கறது? ரொம்ப சௌரியமா போச்சு. அவன் சொல்ற புழுதுக்கு இப்படிதானா இப்படிதான் பரமபதமா இப்படிதான் போவாளான்னு. But Azhvar doesn't really think that. Azhvar really doesn't mean it. He speaks about eloquently going to Vaikuntham in so many other places. Here, her only job is to put him down. So she will say things that are wrong. She will say things that she herself doesn't believe. இது வந்து பிரமாணத்தை பண்ணியாச்சு. இப்போ பிரமேயத்தையும் destroy பண்ணணும். You should say he is also bad. He is only pretending to be good. And she பெரிய திருமட ரொம்ப நன்னா வெயிறது. That's very well. She does Krishna and how bad Krishna is, she even not only திருடுறது உடைக்கிறது பானை உடைக்கிறது, that's all okay. She even scolds him for the Govardhana puja. She scolds him. அத்தனை சாப்பாடு வண்டியா they brought food. He ate everything. He ate ஒத்தருக்கும் கொடுக்காம இப்படி ஒரு பெரும் தீனி. She scolds him. She says ராமரை கிருஷ்ணரை திட்டுறது is one thing. She scolds Rama. She says மன்னன் இராவணன் தன் நல் தங்கை பொன்னின் உரு கொண்டு புலர்ந்தெழுந்த காமத்தால் தன்னை நயந்தாளை தான் முனிந்து மூக்கறிந்து. அவ்வளோ நல்லவோ. Ravana was a great king, such a pedigree for Surpanaka. It's about Surpanaka. மன்னன் இராவணன் தன் நல் தங்கை, good sister. What a good sister of the great king Ravana, Surpanaka. பொன்னின் உரு கொண்டு புலர்ந்தெழுந்த காமத்தால். She became so beautiful. Her kama, her love for Rama was so much. And தன்னை நயந்தாளை, she came to him professing love for him. What did he do? தான் முனிந்து மூக்கறிந்து. He got mad at her and cut off her nose. And then he says that is Thirumangai. He says he said மகாவீரன், எவ்வளோ பலசாலி, எவ்வளோ பெரிய ஆள் ராமர், அவளுக்கு மூக்கை கட் பண்ணினாரேன்னு சொல்லிக்கிறார். அது மாத்திரமா? தன்னிகர் ஒன்றில்லாத தாடகையை மாமுனிகா தென்னுலகம் ஏற்றுவித்த திரளும். தன்னிகர் ஒன்றில்லாத தாடகை. 10,000 elephants strength was for Tataka. She herself was like a mountain. Such a great Tataka. Ava ஊர்ல இருந்தா. This Rama went there and he killed her. தொன்னகரம் ஏற்று வைத்த தீந்தொருள். என்ன பலம் என்ன வீரம். அவள் ஒரு பொம்மனாட்டி. He went and killed a woman. ஏன் கொன்ன? Rama, why did you go kill Tataka? She was in her own forest. மாமுனிகா முனிவர் கொல்லுன்னு சொன்னார், நான் கொன்னேன். What is this? Some Munivars have told him to kill that woman, and he killed that woman, and he calls himself so brave. Then Kamban says, கைவண்ணம் அங்கு கண்டேன் கால் வண்ணம் இங்கு கண்டேன் வருமே. மைவண்ண தரக்கி போரில் மழை வண்ண தன்னலே உன் கைவண்ணம் அங்கு கண்டேன் கால் வண்ணம் இங்கு கண்டேன். அகல்யா சாப விமோச்சனத்துக்கு அப்புறம் விஸ்வாமித்திரர் சொல்றார், மைவண்ணத்து அரக்கி போரில் மழை வண்ணத்து அண்ணலே உன் கைவண்ணம் அங்கு கண்டேன், உன் கால் வண்ணம் இங்கு கண்டேன். I saw the greatness of your arm during Tataka Vadam. அப்புறம் before going to Mithila, this happens in Nahalya place. Then Perumal's திருவடி dust makes her பாவனம், கால் வண்ணம் இங்கு கண்டேன். இப்படி எல்லாரும் பெரியவாள்கிட்ட சேவிச்சு ஆச்சரியப்படுறா. She says this fellow is no good, he is doing all these things for even women. So ஏன் இப்படி பண்றார் அப்படின்னா, again this is really roguish behavior on the part of Azhvar. No other Azhvar speaks like this, no other Azhvar says anything like this, and no other Azhvar fights like this. It is only Thirumangai Azhvar says these things and fights, and he does anukaram. See, all the other Azhvar, anukaram means they really become mentally that person and talks in the words of that person, like Yashoda, like Kausalya, like even Periyalvar even becomes Hanuman and talks to Sundarakandam Sita, he talks to Sita like Hanuman, and all these roles they take, Gopika and so on. Azhvar takes the role of a Rakshasa in 20 pasurams. Not a good Rakshasa, but one Rakshasa in the army of Ravana. Yengali Ravanan and all that he speaks about being there in the army of Ravana. That is these are all making our Thirumangai qualifies him to be a rogue who is testing the limits, who is bending the rules, who is going past the etiquette and norm of a behavior of a devotee, of a bhakta to the Perumal, but all in good sense, all because of bhakti and Perumal understands. And when Thirumangai Azhvar talks about his bad, I'm so bad, I'm so bad, I'm so low, I'm so dumb, all those things, but this humility he does, it is only where it needs to be, not everywhere. He has a defiant spirit of telling I am great when and where he should say, which is exactly the way Vedanta Deshika was. Vedanta Deshika says in his Yatiraja Saptati, Kavitar Karnesayesha Kavitarkika Simhanada. My poetry, this is Kavitarkika Simhathanuடைய Garjanam. All the other people are like elephants who even die if they see Singam in the Swapanam. Time and எவ்வளோ ஆச்சு இன்னும்? 5 o'clock நான் முடிச்சுடுறேன். அப்படின்னு அதே this is the same spirit Swami Desikan has. Our Azhvar, what he did was he was humble, very full of humility, talks himself as very low and all those things, Naicham, like all the others. But in his, what happened once, Azhvar was going via Sirgali, which is known as Kali Chirama Vinnagaram. He was passing from Oru Dividesma Azhvar Pogumbodhu. There his Sishyas were all talking about, proclaiming so many of his titles. Birudangal, he had so many, like Alinada, Narattamuki, Chatushkavi Paradab, Chatushkavi Perumal, and all those things, and they were telling. Appo on the Urla there was a Jnana Sambandarne. He was a Saivite and Shiva devotee and a great poet also. And he was the greatest poet there. And he used to have a veil is a spear in his hand, like that was his insignia, and he's a great poet and so on. So his Sishyas told Thirumangai Azhvar's Sishyas to stop proclaiming all these in their city, because it is the place of Jnana Sambandar and he is the greatest poet and he is in town, so these people should not say that. But Thirumangai Azhvar's Sishya said, our Acharya is all this and more, we will say that. So then that so happened, there has to be a debate and see if Thirumangai Azhvar can really, his Sishyas can really say that. Appo Jnana Sambandar and Thirumangai Azhvar were together. They say Thirumangai Azhvar asked Jnana Sambandar to compose a verse, and he did compose a verse, and Thirumangai Azhvar found fault in those. So Jnana Sambandar said very sarcastically, he said, okay, if you are so great, or kural paadum. Now in the Ur Kalichirama Vinnagaram, that temple there, the Perumal's name is Thadalan, but means Thiruvikraman. Thiruvikraman is also known as Kural, Thirukuralappan. Kural means short. So Vamanan is Thiruvikraman and is known as Kural. That is the temple of Thiruvikrama in that town. And Kural, in Tamil literature, Kural means a small verse, maybe 1.5 lines. Agaramudal Eluthellam Adi Bhagavan Mudatre Ulagu. It's one Kural. That's all, it's done. So he sarcastically said, okay, you Ur Kural Padum, thinking this man cannot do even that because he found fault with me. And Azhvar used the Ur Kural and said, பாசுரம். ஒரு குரலாய், he uses all numbers. ஒரு குரலாய் இருநிலம் மூவடி மண்வேண்டி உலகனைத்தும் ஈரடியால் ஒடுக்கி ஒன்றும் தருகவெனா மாமல் மாவலியை சிலையில் வைத்த தாடாளன் தாளனை மீள் தக்க கீர்த்தி அருமறையின் திறன் நான்கும் அங்கமைந்தும் வேள்வி ஐந்தும் அங்கங்கள் அவையாறும் இசைகளேனும் தெருவில் மணி விழாவளமும் சிறக்கும் காழிச்சீராம விண்ணகரமே சேர்மின் நீரே. A magnificent, beautiful pasuram on this Perumal of that town. மாவலி கிட்ட மூமடி வாங்கின பெருமாளை பற்றி ஆச்சரியமான ஸ்லோகம் பாடினார். அந்த காலத்தில் people were pramanikas. If they think the other person did right, they will accept, they won't fight unnecessarily. He agreed, you are a great poet, you deserve to say all these biruthams, and in recognition of it, he gave his spear as a gift to Thirumangai. Then Thirumangai didn't stop, he sang 10 pasurams on that Perumal using different avatarams, and his defiant spirit is such. In the 10th pasuram of Palasruti, Palasrutila modal 1 line is about Perumal. The rest of it all